Hi, my name's Janet.
My name is May.
Our presentation is on pages 10 through 14 and collectivistic cultures. Our first slide is on feedback. Feedback is information we receive in response to messages we have sent.
Feedback reveals how our message was interpreted.
Feedback is positive or negative. Positive feedback enhances behavior and it causes us to continue our behavior. Negative feedback stops behavior in progress.
And feedback is internal and external. Internal feedback is the feedback you give yourself as you assess your own actions. External feedback is the feedback you receive from other person.
Internal feedback, an example would be when after an interaction, if you feel like, oh, that was kind of annoying at me, that would be like internal feedback. External feedback would be what like the other actual person says or does to you. So like when you tell a joke and they laugh, that would be external feedback.
Feedback is low monitor or high monitor. Low monitor feedback is honest and spontaneous. High monitor feedback is a carefully crafted response designed to serve a particular purpose.
Low monitored feedback would be like with a close friend. You're not gonna really think about your responses. It's just gonna be honest and spontaneous. High monitored feedback would be like in a job interview. You're gonna really think your answers through before you respond, so you make a good impression.
Feedback is immediate or delayed. Immediate feedback instantly reveals its effect on us. Delayed feedback is when a gap occurs between the message and delivery.
For immediate feedback, again, it would be like with a joke. Like if you laugh instantly, that means it was funny. Delayed feedback would be like, again, in a job interview where you're gonna think of your answers and there's gonna be that slight pause while you're thinking of your answers. Our next slide is on context. Context, the environmental and situational cultural context in which communication takes place also affects its outcome.
The environmental context is the physical location of interaction.
The situational or cultural context compromises the life spaces or cultural backgrounds of the parties in the interaction. The physical setting includes the specific location for the interaction.
For example, a candlelight exchange may have a different feel and outcome from one held in a busy, brightly lit office.
The social setting derives from the status, relationships, and roles assumed by each party.
It's like some relationships seem friendlier and are less formal than others.
The psychological setting includes the interaction's emotional dimensions.
It's like it influences how an individual feels and responds to each other.
The temporal setting includes not only the time of day but also the history the parties share.
And it's like any previous communication experiences that you and another person have had will influence the way you treat each other in the present.
The cultural context is composed of beliefs, values, and rules of communication that affect your behavior.
For example, if you and the other person are from different culture, the rules you each follow may confuse the other or lead to missing chances of effective and meaningful exchange.
As we interact with each other, we experience an effect, meaning that we are influenced by some way in the interaction.
The effect can be immediately observable or initially not observable at all.
The effect can be cognitive, emotional, or physical.
And the visualizing communication has three parts. Like the first one is linear or unidirectional model. It depicts communication as going in one direction only.
The second is the interaction model. It visualizes interpersonal communication not as a one-way event, but as a back and forth process. It acknowledges the presence and effects of both feedback and context.
The last model is like transaction model. It depicts sending and receiving as simultaneous rather than separate acts. The sender and receiver send and receive messages from each other at the same time.
Our last slide is on collectivistic cultures. Collectivistic cultures are part of Asia, Africa, and Central and South America.
In collectivistic cultures, the group goals are given a higher priority than individual goals.
The group is the primary unit.
Links assess the group cohesion and loyalty.
Members get a sense of identity through group memberships.
Have an allocentric orientation, a perspective displayed by people who are primarily collectivistic in their thinking and behaving.
That's it for our presentation.
Thank you.